Hello, and welcome back to Soulbrick Studios. Today, we're going to be talking about LEGO Ninjago. I'm going to be giving my feelings on the show. You can disagree with me, you can agree with me. All opinions are valid, and I'm not here to swing you in one way or another. With that said, I do want to issue a spoiler warning at the beginning of the video, because I will be saying some spoiler things in this video. So without further ado, let's jump in. Okay, let's start off with the first two seasons. Now, these seasons are bad, but in my mind, they are the best. It could have been whatever number of reasons, but when I first saw these episodes, I thought they were pretty cool. I liked the idea of Lord Garmadon, like the snakes, like the ninja. It was something new and something fresh. Yes, it still had a lot of the same problems that I'm going to get into in this video, but it wasn't horrible, and for the most part, I kind of enjoyed myself watching it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did when the show first came out. I think that's due to my age at that time was just peaking the end of the target demographic, but now I'm out of it and it's just not the same for me. But it was still enjoyable to rewatch them again. But let's move into the villains. And this is where problems start arising for me. When you introduce a new villain, it's all fine. And I think it's okay. I think it's cool to introduce new villains. But my mind starts to wonder, why is there so much evil in the world? Especially this world. Like, all these big baddies want to take over Ninjago. But looking past that, it's like every season, there's a new villain that is bigger and badder than the one before that. And the ninja get to beat them at the end of the season with no problem. And then besides a few brief mentions, we never hear about the villain after that. Let's take Season 7. In Season 7, the ninja defeated the Hands of Time. In Season 8, we never hear about the Hands of Time, what they're up to, anything about that besides a few things that they messed up. This starts to really bug me. We had a whole 10 episodes focusing about these old students, how bad they were, how evil they were, and then we never hear about them again. Forget about them. That's it. No more Hands of Time. We're moving on to the quiet one. But the other thing that really bugs me and gets me on my nerves is the fact that our villains all have the same idea. They want to take down the ninja. They want to take down Wu. And at the end of the day, they want to rule Ninjago for whatever reason. My biggest complaint with this is that we should get villains that have different ideas, different mindsets, that want to take down the ninja. My other big complaint with this is that they keep sticking back in Lord Garmadon in so many seasons. Lord Garmadon was cool at the beginning, and then he got defeated, and then we're bringing him back in Season 8 because we have no other villains. The Quiet One was a cool concept to me, but she, in Season 9, gets pushed to the side, just seen as another throwaway character because we want Lord Garmadon to be back in the main frame. I want to see the Quiet One. I want to explore more of her ideas. But nope, we just got to stick back in Lord Garmadon because he's a villain the fans like. Anyways, let's move away from the villains and into the ninja. Okay, starting off with the ninja. This is going to be a big section, so stick with me. They're so overpowered in the beginning. They are given all their powers in the early seasons, and then as the seasons progress, they are just made less powerful, and the audience is literally told to forget about it. Not in the show, but the fact that they just never bring in those powers again bugs me. If you're watching this from the beginning, like I did, I've seen every season up to Season 9. You're going to start to wonder, what happened to all these powers? What happened to everything? Let's take Air Jetsu for an example. Air Jetsu was a big thing in the beginning. It started off, I think in Season 3 or 4, it started off as this big thing. The ninja had it. They got this power. Yet now the filmmakers are thinking, oh, it makes them too overpowered. We should get rid of that. But instead of making up an explanation, they just stop putting it in it. But in Season 7, they use it to try to get some people out of a warehouse that they've been kidnapped in. Later in Season 8, they're stuck on an island, and they can literally see the land away. It's like 40 feet from them, and this giant crab's coming and attacking them, and they're like, How do we get out of here? Ah! It's the most annoying thing ever, and I feel like they need to give an explanation. Upon doing some digging around, the only explanation is just fans speculating. And this explanation of fans speculating is, oh, it's because the hands of time came and they messed some things up so they can't remember air jetsu. But it's literally like, why can't they remember it? Just give me a reason. And for me, being not the biggest Ninjago fan, I'm not going to go digging around on the internet for an explanation by some grown adults in their 40s watching the show. If it's not shown in the show, it didn't happen in my mind. Okay, let's move away from air jetsu to spin jetsu. Spin jetsu was a cool thing in my mind. We got to watch some people spin around like little tops and use their powers. Now, in the newer season, it's used really rarely and used as a last resort and seem as so useless against these normal people. It's just like, I'm fine if you want to make Spinjetsu not the end-all be-all, which is, I think, it's good. It's not like they can just turn into tops, kill their villains, and be done with it. I think we should have villains with powers to defeat the Spinjetsu, not just taking a broom and knocking someone out of their spinny top formation. Okay, and let's talk about their powers. They use their powers so infrequently now, and they're a last resort, and they're very, very sparingly used. But the fact is, if you have powers, in every situation, you're just going to wonder, why don't you use them now? Why don't you use them now? Oh, you got a villain, use your powers. They're just used littler in the situations I think they should be really used in. They're used when they need a quick escape, but if they want a long, drawn-out battle, they're not used so much. Okay, now let's move into the ninja I like. I like Nia and Wu. Mostly just Wu. And Wu in the earlier seasons. Not so much the teenage, grown adult Wu. I like the old man Wu. The other ones being Kai, Cole, and Zane, and Lloyd. I don't vibe with them that much, you know? They're just kind of brats that point out the obvious, and they just say some stuff, and they seem like they're supposed to be 20-year-olds in the show, but they feel like they're 5-year-olds. Because that's what you get when you watch a kid's TV show. But then there's Jay. And Jay, in my mind, is the embodiment of what makes this show so bad. He just sits there, points out the obvious, tells some corny jokes, and that's it. I know that's supposed to be his whole thing, as he's this kid that, says bad jokes and stuff. The issue with this is when you're doing a show that has many, many seasons, and over the course, the character keeps getting worse and worse, and more of this bumbling buffoon, you just want them to get out of the way to see the cool things. And Jay is just put in there. And it really feels now that it's Lloyd's story, and the other characters have no point. Don't get me wrong, I like Nia, but she has no point in the plot. Neither does Pixel, neither does Zane, neither does Kai, neither does Cole. They're just put in there because the writers are like, here are our main characters. We need to tell this Lloyd story, yet we're going to stick these other people in and create up some side quests for them to do. And that's what Season 9 was in my mind. The ninja got stuck on this island because we needed a side quest for them to do while Lloyd did his thing. Okay. Let's say a little bit about the big change. From season 7 to 8, the animation shifted. This bugged me so much because the characters looked so different. It looked like it was the Ninjago show, and then it was like 30 years later they created the reboot, and now we're watching the reboot with different animation. I think it's actually cool that they changed the animation style. I like it personally, the new one, a little bit better than the old one. But it took me some time to adjust. I had to watch like 4 episodes before I could adjust, because it was so jarring to see brand new characters that I just watched for a whole entire season in this new light. And upon reading some more about this, it seemed like that the Ninjago TV creators wanted to make it a more easier experience for people who watch the movie to come into the show. But again, once again, we go to people speculating that it's because the hands of time screwed things up. But then I'm going to ask the question that, why do the other characters, the other main characters like Misaku, look the same. Like, Derek looks the same, and you could say, oh, he's an adult. But no, unless they show it on screen, I don't think there's anything different. Like, show me that they age. Show me that it's been a year. I would take that answer. But not doing it and just sticking these characters in really pisses me off. Okay. I want to wrap this video up kind of soon, so let's talk about the script. In my mind, the script makes me the most mad. By no means is it a stellar script, or do I want it to be a stellar script. The characters just point out the obvious, though, and that's what bugs me the most. In every episode, there is a character that just says what the audience is seeing and thinking. Like, in one episode of Season 8, there's a character whose bullhorn is floated out of his hands, and he just sits there and says, "Oh, alright, my megaphone is floating." It is the most annoying thing ever. Because, think, in real life, if your megaphone was floated out of your hand by a villain, would you just stand there and watch it and say this dumb line? No, you would probably scream, you would run away, you would do something like that. But the script is full of these instances where the characters just spit out these dumb lines. The other thing that really bugs me is in film, there's a rule that says show, don't tell. This is pretty much saying, show the audience what the character's going through, show them how they're feeling, versus just having the character say, I feel bad. Show the audience the character feeling bad. Maybe they slouch more, maybe they are out of their normal routine. I think if they just did this in some of these instances, the show would be so much better and appeal to more than just this target demographic of children ages like 6 to 12. Okay. I also want to talk a little bit about the darker path that the show has been trying to create. The show wanted to create a little bit of a darker path, I read, so this is hearsay. But I think that's pretty cool. I think it's great that they're trying to create new things. The only issue with this is that because of this, they now run into the problems of the lazy writing where they're not bringing in these earlier plot points that we had because they think that it makes the ninja too powerful, such as the air jetsu and spin jetsu being weaker. Instead of showing that the villains are now more powerful, or showing that the hands of time mess something up with air jetsu, we now just don't get to see it because we want to see the characters lose more and have to go through more harder times. In concept, this is a cool idea, I think, to make the show darker, but in execution, it's pretty crappy. And now I want to move on to my favorite episode in Season 8, probably Episode 9. I think it's great because we get to see the ninja lose. But to make it my favorite episode, that's not hard. I enjoyed probably 20% of this episode. And the 80% I didn't does not make up for this being a great season or a great show. And all in all, I probably liked about 5% of the whole show and hated the other 95%, or at least significantly disliked it. Just because they keep sticking Garmadon back in. They keep having these villains follow the same plots as the originals, and it's great if you're having new audiences, which is what I think they're doing. They keep making new seasons for the kids that are now going to start watching it on season 12 or 13 because they're now in the age group. But if you have people like me that have been watching it since the beginning, it's just such a frustrating thing. At the end of the day, this is a show for children's. I am not in the target demographic by far, so it makes sense why I do not enjoy it. But the thing I don't get is in the LEGO community, so many teens and adults were telling me that it's a good show, or posting videos about it was a good show, and I didn't get it, so I decided to watch 3 more seasons of it, and I still don't get it. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good show, and I honestly think if you're not in that target demographic, don't watch it. You're probably not going to enjoy that much of it. And if you're an adult and you can watch a movie with half a brain, you will probably see that there are so dumb mistakes, and mistakes that you're just like, where did Air Jetsu go? They can just use it and get out of here. You get so frustrated, start yelling at the screen, and you're pointing out every little flaw in the show. As I said, the 5% of the show I enjoyed does not make up for the 95% I did not. In my mind, I would give this show an F because of all the other amazing shows that are out there in the world that you could spend your time watching. But if we're comparing it to other children's shows, I'd give it A C? Probably because other children's shows are not linear, but because this is linear, and that means on a consistent timeline, it bugs me so much that there's all these things that we've seen in past seasons that are not brought up. And at the end of the day, I don't think I'll watch any more of this show. But I'm interested to hear what you guys think. If you disagree, let me know why in the comments. If you agree, again, let me know why you agree in the comments. And if you want me to review the Ninjago movie, more Ninjago, or other LEGO shows, comment down below, and I would love to make more because I had a lot of fun making this video. So bye-bye.